How do you see people actually interacting with this technology in the near future?
Cleo, everything that moves will be robotic someday, and it will be soon. You know, the idea that we'll be pushing around a lawnmower is already kind of silly. You know, maybe people do it because it's fun, but there's no need to. And every car is going to be robotic. Humanoid robots, the technology necessary to make it possible is just around the corner. And so everything that moves will be robotic.
Jensen Huang envisions a future where robotics and AI become integral to daily life, automating tasks like driving and learning through digital environments like Omniverse Cosmos. He foresees personal AI companions, akin to R2-D2, that adapt and grow with users across devices and contexts. While optimistic, Huang stresses the importance of addressing challenges like bias, misinformation, and system failures to ensure AI safety. Collaborative engineering and fail-safes will be key to harnessing AI's potential responsibly. Huang highlights breakthroughs in energy-efficient computing and their impact on AI, robotics, and fields like digital biology and climate science. These advancements pave the way for smarter systems, personalized healthcare, and precise weather modeling, shaping a transformative future.
And they'll learn how to be a robot in Omniverse Cosmos, and will generate all these physically plausible futures, and the robots will learn from them, and then they'll come into the physical world, and it's exactly the same. A future where you're just surrounded by robots is for certain, and I'm just excited about having my own R2-D2. And of course, R2-D2 wouldn't be quite the can that it is and roll around. It'll be R2-D2. Yeah, it'll probably be a different physical embodiment. But it's always R2, so my R2 is going to go around with me. Sometimes it's in my smart glasses, sometimes it's in my phone, sometimes it's in my PC, it's in my car. So R2 is with me all the time, including, when I get home, where I left a physical version of R2, and, whatever that version happens to be, we'll interact with R2. And so I think the idea that we'll have our own R2-D2 for our entire life, and it grows up with us, that's a certainty now. Yeah.
I think a lot of news media, when they talk about futures like this, they focus on what could go wrong. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
There still is a lot that could go wrong.
Yeah. We should talk about what could go wrong so we can keep it from going wrong. Yeah.
That's the approach that we like to take on the show is what are the big challenges so that we can overcome them?
Yeah.
What buckets do you think about when you're worrying about this future?
Well, there's a whole bunch of the stuff that everybody talks about. Bias or toxicity or just hallucination, speaking with great confidence about something it knows nothing about, and as a result we rely on that information. Generating, that's a version of generating fake information, fake news or fake images or whatever it is. Of course, impersonation, it does such a good job pretending to be a human. It could do an incredibly good job pretending to be a specific human. And so the spectrum of areas that we have to be concerned about is fairly clear, and there's a lot of people who are working on it. There's some of the stuff related to AI safety requires deep research and deep engineering, and that's simply it wants to do the right thing, it just didn't perform it right, and as a result hurt somebody. For example, a self-driving car that wants to drive nicely and drive properly, and just somehow the sensor broke down, or it didn't detect something, or made it too aggressive turn, or whatever it is. It did it poorly. It did it wrongly. And so that's a whole bunch of engineering that has to be done to make sure that AI safety is upheld by making sure that the product functioned properly. And then lastly, what happens if the AI wants to do a good job, but the system failed? Meaning the AI wanted to stop something from happening, and it turned out just when it wanted to do it, the machine broke down. And so this is no different than a flight computer inside a plane having 3 versions of them, and then so there's triple redundancy inside the system, inside autopilots, and then you have 2 pilots. And then you have air traffic control, and then you have other pilots watching out for these pilots. And so the AI safety systems has to be architected as a community such that these AIs, function properly. When they don't function properly, they don't put people in harm's way, and that there's sufficiently safety and security systems all around them to make sure that we keep AI safe. And so there's the spectrum of conversation is gigantic, and we have to take the parts apart and build them as engineers.
It's about this moment that we're in right now, is that we no longer have a lot of the technological limits that we had in a world of CPUs and sequential processing, and we've unlocked not only a new way to do computing but also a way to continue to improve. Parallel processing has a different kind of physics to it than the improvements that we were able to make on CPUs. I'm curious, what are the scientific or technological limitations that we face now in the current world that you're thinking a lot about?
Well, everything in the end is about how much work you can get done within the limitations of the energy that you have. And so that's a physical limit. And the laws of physics about transporting information and transporting bits, flipping bits and transporting bits. At the end of the day, the energy it takes to do that limits what we can get done. And the amount of energy that we have limits what we can get done. We're far from having any fundamental limits that keep us from advancing. In the meantime, we seek to build better, more energy efficient computers. This little computer, the big version of it was $250,000. Yeah. That's little baby digits. Yeah. This is an AI supercomputer. The version that I delivered, this is just a prototype, so it's a mock-up. And so the very first version was DGX-1. I delivered to OpenAI in 2016, and that was $250,000, 10,000 times more power, more energy necessary than this version. And this version has 6 times more performance. I know, it's incredible.
We're in a whole new world.
And it's only since 2016. And so 8 years later, we've increased the energy efficiency of computing by 10,000 times. And imagine if we became 10,000 times more energy efficient, or if a car was 10,000 times more energy efficient, or electric light bulb was 10,000 times more energy efficient. Our light bulb would be right now, instead of 100 watts, 10,000 times less, producing the same illumination. Yeah, and so the energy efficiency of computing, particularly for AI computing that we've been working on, has advanced incredibly, and that's essential because we want to create more intelligent systems, and we want to use more computation to be smarter, and so energy efficiency to do the work is our number one priority.
Is that you are a person who makes big bets on the future, and time again you've been right about those bets. We've talked about GPUs, we've talked about CUDA, we've talked about bets you've made in AI.
Self-driving cars, and we're going to be right on robotics. And
this is my question.
Yeah,
what are the bets that you're making now? We're going to be right on Omniverse.
The latest bet, of course, we just described at the CES, and I'm very, very proud of it, and I'm very excited about it, is the fusion of Omniverse and Cosmos, so that we have this new type of generative world generation system, this multiverse generation system. I think that's going to be profoundly important in the future of robotics and physical systems. Of course, the work that we're doing with humanoid robots, developing the tooling systems and the training systems and the human demonstration systems and all of this stuff that you've already mentioned, we're just seeing the beginnings of that work. And I think the next 5 years are going to be very interesting in the world of humanoid robotics. Of course, the work that we're doing in digital biology, so that we can understand the language of molecules and understand the language of cells, and just as we understand the language of physics and the physical world, we'd like to understand the language of the human body and understand the language of biology. And so if we can learn that and we can predict it, then all of a sudden our ability to have a digital twin of the human is plausible. And so I'm very excited about that work. I love the work that we're doing in climate science and be able to, from weather predictions, understand and predict the high resolution regional climates, the weather patterns within a kilometer above your head, that we can somehow predict that with great accuracy. Its implications is really quite profound.
Jensen Huang envisions a future where robotics and AI seamlessly integrate into daily life, automating tasks and creating personal AI companions that adapt to users across devices. While optimistic, he stresses the need to address challenges like bias, misinformation, and system failures to ensure AI safety and reliability. He highlights breakthroughs in energy-efficient computing, which drive advancements in robotics, digital biology, and climate science, paving the way for smarter systems and transformative innovations. These developments promise a future of greater convenience, sustainability, and scientific progress. How do you think AI will change your daily routine? What precautions should we take to ensure AI benefits society? Let me know in the comments.